I have zero inbox. Do you know that? We do another contract here. Well, let's do a 3-hour show. We should be done right now.
Well, you're having this negotiation with me. That's the only problem.
Well, who am I supposed to negotiate with? Right? And the one thing I don't respond well to is humiliation. I don't respond well to it at all. You know, I don't want to be told what a shithead I am. I don't want to. You know, those days are over. I've suffered enough in this business. I don't need to find out what a shithead I am.
Are you ready for this?
You cut your hair, man. What'd you do? What's going on?
I'm getting old.
So what?
I can't keep it like yours.
You know, I'm old too. So what?
Yeah, but you're ugly.
Thanks.
Jesus.
What are you saying? I need the hair?
You need it.
No,
you need it.
You know, it's just interesting when people have their kids on the air.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if a kid was a fuck-up, you just keep them quiet.
I put my kids on the air more, but they want no part of it.
When you're trying to just have a friendly conversation, when he's irritable, the things you do every day become the wrong thing to do.
That's true.
He doesn't listen.
That's right.
But the most irritating thing of all is that we used to be good friends, and we just aren't anymore. I still love him, but he says everybody's expendable, and I just have to live with that.
I was going to look for a Nikki Hilton. But you see, those good-looking rich girls, they don't go for a guy like me because they don't need my money. And Rickles tells me this story. So Beth says to Don Rickles, gee, I wonder what they say about me. Don Rickles goes, you? No one cares about you. You're not even that important.
No one says anything about you.
No one talks about you.
I don't even know you.
You're not that big.
I do have to ask, do you think there's a physical match between him and Beth?
Do you? I guess they're both tall and have 10 fingers.
Yeah, they look right together.
I don't know, they look more right together now.
It was just on the regular show.
It just occurred to me when I listened to them.
Like, it dawned on me like 2 days ago. My hair's going to get crazy because I don't have, I'm not going to get a haircut. And then Beth goes, I'll cut your hair, but you can't cut my hair because my hair is curly. It's
hard to cut your hair.
Welcome, guys, to QF, a podcast about Howard Stern. I'm your host, Fillmore, a.k.a. Jim Fix. With me once again is Chicago Bob, a.k.a. Bobby Chicago. How are you today, brother?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Getting there. It'd be nice to get this one wrapped up. This is a 3-parter. We didn't know it would take this long, guys, but we had so much fun with the first 2 parts. We just couldn't finish. We couldn't let it sit. We couldn't not finish this one. We definitely were going to get it through, but once they start mentioning Barbara Bush, poor Bob lost it last time. That was the celebrity hang at the peninsula that Katie Lee started mentioning. These are the people we hobnobbed with, and we just started riffing. It's a great episode, part 2. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So we're going to continue off from there.
Do you realize if you didn't
a lot of times I will do that. I would bring, like, Beth gets turned on when I'm doing the radio show and she sees me working all the controls and
I
stuff.
love that.
You got to do what you're good at.
Right.
You bring a girl to something that you're good at doing.
I get turned on now when I go to his concerts and I see him playing. That's a real turn on.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, that's a pretty good rush.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Art?
Well, if she had never gone to the peninsula that day, I wouldn't be eating these cookies. Think about it.
That's right.
You'd be much lighter right now.
Everything led her right here.
Right.
All roads lead to Artie.
Yes.
Well, let me tell you. In fact, a man will go a long way to impress a woman. Billy jumping up on stage. Mm-hmm. You know, I called Regis Philbin because he lives in my building, and when Beth was walking the building, I said, "Could you talk me up in the elevator?"
I understand you're dating Dreamboat upstairs.
The greatest guy on the planet.
My God, he's fantastic.
So, Katie, all is good. You're happy. Mm-hmm. You're going to give Billy Joel a son. I was impressed. In fact,
I'm not pregnant.
You were not pregnant?
No, not right now.
At the wedding, I went to the wedding.
Is that right?
That's right.
Oh, I remember you talking about that.
And Billy's daughter, Alexa, was actually Katie's maid of honor, which is almost unbelievable. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
That's nice, though.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I interviewed Alexa last night for Extra. I covered Katie's party, and she said the most wonderful things about Katie and her cooking, and it was...
Yeah, but she wants to know she knows what's good for her.
Beth was on Extra?
There was a short time there where she was acting as a correspondent for Extra, whatever they're calling it at the time, but it didn't last very long. There's an infamous one-on-one interview between Beth and Chelsea Handler, and Chelsea's just kind of disgusted, like, "Oh, you're that no talent that Howard's fucking."
No.
And
really?
You never saw that?
No. Do you have it?
I do. Yeah. You want to see it?
I will just send it to me. I gotta see. How long is it?
It's like in maybe a couple minutes tops.
Just send it to me. I gotta see that.
Okay.
I gotta see that.
All right.
I like how he mentions. Yeah, I had Regis Philbin talk me up. Like, could you have picked an older, lamer,
like, even if it was let's be honest. That's in his building. I mean, with the options he had were Steve Guttenberg and Regis Philbin.
You know, he didn't even set it up either. He probably had his agent reach out because he's such a fucking lame.
Big time. Yeah.
She's a lovely, lovely girl. She has a new album, she said, coming out.
Yeah, she's been recording.
Talk about pressure. I don't know. If I was like Billy Joel's kid, would I want to be in the music business? The answer would be probably not, because it's a pain in the ass. You know? The dude is really good at
Yeah,
what
but
he
I mean,
does.
if you want to try it, you got to try it, right?
That's what you have inside of you.
She should have done, Dee just wrote me a note. His son's starting on Thursday.
Yes, I got that note too.
Jesse, he's going to be on a show on MTV. It's all rock stars' kids who are trying to get a recording contract. I wonder if Alexa would have done that.
Actually, I think that they approached her, but she didn't want. She wants to do it on her own.
She does.
Yeah.
She didn't do it, stupid. What do you mean? I wonder if she would have. She didn't do it.
Yeah, I was wondering.
And what? I don't even understand. So he's saying, I don't want to go into music because it would have been a pain in the ass. Why? I don't get why he thinks she wouldn't go into it, because her dad or.
Yeah. He basically saying what, like he used the wrong choice of words. Like no, it's not because it's annoying. It would be because
no kidding.
You know, it would be incredibly pressure filled, because if you're a failure, like Jacob Dylan, Bob Dylan's son in the Wallflowers, following in the footsteps of his old man, which I hate fucking Dylan anyway. So it makes no difference to me. But Hardy was the best. One wrap up show, he goes, Jacob Dylan's not, he got a record contract because of his fucking old man. Like, what else is, as if that we don't know that was the case. And in this case, I agree with Howard in that situation, but he just used the wrong choice. It was a wrong turn of phrase. Like famous people's sons or daughters who go into the business after them. There's a Jason Connery.
No, I didn't know that.
No, there was.
I'm not a celebrity guy though, man.
No, you're not.
I do remember. I do remember the Wallflowers though.
Yeah, they were big.
And they got decently big, weren't they?
They had a little there was about a 3-year period where they had actual like charting singles and stuff. They had hits. Yeah. They sang that they did a cover on that fucking awful good Godzilla movie soundtrack. They did a Bowie cover and it was really horrendous, guys. Go ahead and watch it and you tell us what you think. But I'm not even a huge Bowie fan, but my God.
Okay.
Anyway, so and Alexa Ray Joel, if I'm not mistaken, is the kid that Billy had with Christy Brinkley. And she's usually brought up in the context of kids who had the unfortunate bad looks from the ugly parent.
Okay.
And they usually put her together with Rumor Willis, like Bruce Willis and Demi Moore's kid, who's really unattractive. She's had all kinds of plastic surgery, and I'm not trying to ugly shame, but I'm just saying as a point of reference, fuck the music. Just the fact that you had to be looking like your old man who was a troll, and then like Howard's kids, who I'm not going to talk about their looks, but mostly they took after their mother, except for Emily. Emily looks like the spit of Howard, and that's never a good thing.
I was gonna say I feel like I've seen them, and they're not bad looking girls by any means, but
not horrendous. But there's still like that Stern DNA. You could just tell, like, if you took that out of the mix, it would be a game changer.
that one drop went a long way, huh?
Yeah, big time
with them.
And she's into jazz, right? Is she a jazz musician?
Yeah, she does jazz, and she plays the piano. She writes all of her own songs. She's really, really talented.
Yeah.
It must be genetic. I'm hoping that when we have kids, my genes don't hold them back. Your looks, though.
You're hoping the kids don't sing like you?
Oh, God, I will never sing them a lullaby. It has to go to him. I do not want to mess it up.
Be a great combination. Kids can sing and make a damn good batch of cookies.
And look like Katie.
You are technically Alexa's stepmother. Have you ever had to spank her and discipline her? Or let's say she's only in. Let's say you're both nude and she's in her underpants and you have to spank her. That never happened?
No.
It's too bad. That would have been a good story. Not that I would approve of that. I don't think corporal punishment is right for children. But that's your story to tell.
What a creep.
I mean, did we not see that coming like a mile away?
Yeah.
Howard's going to make some low-hanging fruit joke. Like, it's just boring, man. This is when everything got so fucking boring.
Well, we're already at the who gives a fuck stage when they announce she's coming in, and I do have the wrap up show segment for this, but I would love maybe we'll play it if there's enough time, but I'll have to go through maybe just hear what a few callers have to say about it. But of course, there's always one's going to say, "Oh, I thought it was pretty interesting, this and that," but most people are going to say, "This sucked. This was stupid."
I guess like I'm referencing like if someone has an Indian accent, there's going to be an Indian joke. If someone's black, it's like, okay, that's her stepdaughter. I knew that was coming like the second it was brought up. It wasn't even a funny joke either.
No, God, no.
God forbid.
Do you know, recently I just clipped from the 3rd of January, and Robin talks about how she went to Southeast Asia. She went to Laos, she went to Cambodia, Vietnam, and Thailand. And when she's talking about Vietnam, Fred starts playing a drop of Indian like tabla music. Like that's how tone deaf they are at that show. Like, you just and too lazy. All you have to do is go on YouTube, look up Vietnamese traditional folk music, whatever instrumental, and play it. And there you go.
Yeah, Vietnam is not near India. I mean, you're only off by what, 1,000 miles? Like, it's nowhere near it.
He's just lazy. The laziest drops ever, man. It's unbelievable.
I'm hoping my son is so intimidated by my talent that he doesn't even try heroin.
Right.
God.
You do any drugs? You ever try them?
I've smoked pot, but that's it.
That's it?
That's hot.
No coke, no ludes?
Nope.
No hemp?
Nothing.
Hash oil?
Billy's not into drugs?
No. Hash oil?
What's hash oil?
I don't know.
No pot
Now,
brownies?
see, that's what happens when you go out with Billy's friends. They say something like hash oil.
What's hash?
Well, honestly, like that was maybe one of the lamest references Howard used to do because he would decide to start going down drug paraphernalia, and his drugs were so back and like he'd talk about pills they don't even make anymore. You ever do Yellow Jackets? You ever do like Black Beauties? All these these things that they don't even manufacture. They stopped manufacturing like a decade earlier, and he never did them anyway.
Yeah, you ever see that show, The Office?
I've seen episodes of both the American and the British one, but I wasn't a huge fan.
There's like an episode where they find a joint and they're like interviewing people. They're like, "You think it's Michael's, the like lame ass boss, Yeah. He's like, I don't think he's ever been offered drugs. Like, that's what this made me think of. Like, hashish oil.
Yeah.
Like, fucking move on, dude. She's not done any drugs. Like, you ever done any mead? You ever drank any mead?
Quaaludes.
No.
Yeah.
Joel, how dare you?
Before
You know,
our
when I was your age, I was on tons of hash oil.
Hash oil.
Katie Lee Joel's book is actually really good. The recipes are good. I've had firsthand experience with her food.
And they're easy to recreate, huh, Beth?
Yeah.
Very easy.
Okay.
Very easy.
Yeah,
Because
you whip
that's
that
the
up.
big thing with cooking.
Nothing turns me on more than a woman whips up dinner, and Beth did it last night from Katie's book, and it was real good. And the cookies?
Boy, I'll tell you, they're good, but I might as well just have taped them to my hips.
You look good. I don't think you look that heavy from them.
They don't seem to have had an effect.
And also, you are hopping on what I would assume is a private jet.
Yeah, right.
Right to Miami.
Are you really?
Yes.
You got on a private? Oh, God.
So who's on the jet? Just you and Billy?
And the
And our
pugs.
2 dogs.
And the 2 dogs?
The pugs.
That's it.
The pugs live better than we do.
Oh,
We've
my God.
decided that they're richer than we are because they don't have to work.
Oh,
That's
God.
right. They have a real good time.
Oh, guys, you know, you all can relate to bringing your pugs on your private plane, of course.
First off, I don't care if you're rich. Like, not saying I don't care. Like, I don't have a grudge against rich people at all.
Right.
But when rich people do the rich deprecation, it's like our pugs live better than us. No, they don't. You're on a and I'm not even trying to be literal. It's like, don't even make that. You are so far from being able to make a joke about that. It's like when I hear someone wealthy, oh yeah, I went to Target to get these boots. Like they're so cheap and they live this lifestyle. They had to go to Target. Like, no, don't make that joke, man. You're not on that level, and that's really fucking gross to me.
One time on the show, they had Rod Stewart's kid in, they had a couple celeb kids in there. Rod Stewart's kid and someone else's, maybe one of the spelling kids. And he said, I got a $12,000 sound system put in the car, and it was worth more than the car. And Artie was like, he's like, I just wanted to haul off and punch that fucker in the face.
This I think is worse than that.
I'd say
All
so
the
too.
Pugs live better. Like, honey, you're talking about being on a private fucking jet.
Mm-hmm.
99.99% of people listening will never set foot on a private jet. Don't make
much less first class. Forget the private jet. Yeah, totally.
Fucking
and
stupid.
So you could hop on this private plane, and within hours you will be
in
Miami.
Mm-hmm.
At your villa.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You own or lease that jet? Own it. You
own or lease? Lease.
Well, not lease, but how you charter.
Wonder why Billy doesn't own it.
Oh yeah, you know.
Why don't
Hey, Fillmore, you know how you charter a private jet. You know.
Fuck, man. I did it last week when I was on my way to Guam.
And listen to Howard. So you're going to take it there, be there in a matter of hours. Yeah, Howard, you fucking idiot. That's how planes work. You take them and you're there in a few hours.
There's
world's greatest interviewer, really painting a picture. Sorry.
Yeah, he's fucking I don't know, he's really like Homer or somebody, some legendary storyteller. So well, I love Captain Obvious. Usually, like when he's stuck for, like, this is kind of when you just draws a line to the first 2 episodes we cut. When he can't do anything with the fucking interview, he starts going into even more mundane shit. Like, what do you mean he turns on the light switch? What, you mean he takes his finger and he flicks it and the light goes on?
Yeah, that's like what this is. So you're going to get on a plane. It's not like, so what is it, 4 hours to he's like, you're going to take it, you're going to get there, then you're going to go to your villa? Like, yeah, you fucking idiot. Yes, that's what's going to happen. Thank you for detailing that.
Yeah, and let's say he went another angle. Say, how many bodyguards you guys take with you? Like, do you guys have like a security team or anything? No one's going to relate to that either, but they're going to get a sense of, okay, do they fear for their life? But
yeah.
But at the same time, it's still more projection, and then it would be, now we're going to do like compare wallet sizes. Does he buy? Is it his jet? Is it a Lear? Is it a prop plane? What the fuck is it that he uses that I use, and I can compare and see, am I big timing people? Is Billy Joel too cheap? And it's all about like wallet dick measuring by proxy.
Yeah, like insecurity.
Complete.
Do I need a jet?
Yeah, do I need
Do
to
you
step
want
up
one?
my game? Should I charter one for Beth? And the pugs or the cats? All the cyclopean cats we have?
The Cyclopean Cat Airlines.
Exactly.
Oh, one, you have more money than we do.
No, are you kidding me, Billy?
Are you kidding?
What is when you saw his net worth? Did you pass out?
Or did you say that's not much?
Were you
That's all?
disappointed? I think that you and Billy have to be some of the richest people in the world. Billy's BSing you. He's hiding it under the mattress.
Oh, no. He didn't do a full disclosure.
You're telling me you would imagine that I have more money than Billy?
Yeah.
You do? Honey, do you imagine that?
No.
I don't even think it comes close.
Here's what I find interesting because of Howard's poor narrative or whatever he won't let go. This girl is looking around. She literally looks at Beth like, did you see that look? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, you guys have a Hamptons mansion.
Right.
What is he like? This is what's so intriguing to me during this part of it is she's like looking around. She looks genuinely confused. And he probably does. I would imagine he has at least as much as them, if not more, because this is like when he's on his major contract, right? Like the first one.
This is the first.
This
is the very first one, and unless you're Paul McCartney, who was the first, officially the first billionaire because of music in the business. I think it was reported because it was a first basically, and Paul McCartney got that way more from publishing, of course, and not even necessarily just the Beatles publishing. It would be the other catalogs he owned. You know, like musicals, Bill, Buddy Holly, whatever, and then certain rights got reverted back to the original, the songwriters or their families. You know, that passed, their descendants. The next of kin, let's say, even.
Right.
So that was big news. But Billy went through a divorce. Like that, the divorce that he had, and he already had a kid with what's her name, Christy Brinkley. You got to figure, okay, that's where you lose a lot of that money. So, if you're really thinking about it is a very stupid question in the context of Howard just getting this contract.
But yeah, I mean, I would say Howard has more money than him, or
easily.
I don't know. I would think he would have possibly significantly more.
Of course, and that's why she gave that look. It really was. I think she sussed out that he's trying to, big time
gaslight. Yeah, well, he's trying to he's trying to gaslight everybody about his wealth right here. But yeah, she looks like, what the fuck? She gave Beth this look like, the fuck's this guy talking about right now?
Exactly. Yeah.
No.
He gets like $1 million a night doing a con. Artie, what does he get a night doing a con?
I wish I were. I know what I get, and he should get at least 50 billion times more.
Artie gets $75,000 a night.
Well,
It's pretty good, Artie.
Well, you said it.
Well, I know. Can we keep that? I'm embarrassed now.
Just classless.
Yeah. When
just
you talk about
classless ninny is what he sounds like.
Great term. Two great terms. Yeah. You don't. It's really gauche to talk about money, and you just don't do that. We've had several episodes where we discuss, things you don't discuss with people is money, just in general. It's really poor taste.
Yeah, not like this, especially.
Right. And when you start breaking it down, like, how much do you think he paid for those shoes? What about the socks? $5? What? $3?
It gets deep. I remember this. I remember he doesn't let it go. This little insecure ninny.
Yep.
I mean, I would think Billy Joel from fucking Glass Houses alone, he's got to have 40 mil.
I'm telling you.
He writes all the songs.
He's got 5 houses. I don't have 5 houses. Listen.
And he tours.
You could have 5 houses if you wanted.
Yeah.
You figured it out.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly.
So she's busted. He's busted. Look at the look on his face.
Yeah, I know that look.
Yeah, dude, what are you talking about wealth? Or you have enough money to buy half of West Palm Beach. So what are you getting on with, or whatever the fucking beach is, guys? I keep getting it fucked up. But he spent 50-something million on that mansion down in Florida in cash.
I mean, he has obscene wealth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like the fact that he tries to gaslight, man.
Yeah.
About what he has, I just, and this is someone setting up boundaries and just not allowing themselves to be publicly duped. She's like, no, you could have 5 houses. No one else said anything. Houses isn't a gauge of wealth. Like,
no, they can be, but it's more along the lines of like look at Brad. We're going to use his favorite go-to reference, Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, when they were still together, bought a villa in Santorini. Now, just renting a place in Santorini can be really expensive if you're a celeb, but to buy outright, like some of these, infinity pool type fucking places on the most expensive Greek island in the country, and one of the most expensive islands in the world just generally, because of tourism and the nature of the thing, you've got to have an obscene amount of wealth. You don't even need to ask how much it costs, because you know immediately how much. It's like a Rolls Royce. Does anybody need to know the price tag to know it's expensive?
Do you remember? Well, I think the plan is for us to do it. I have to do it as the Bill O'Reilly interview.
Bill O'Reilly one, yeah, we're definitely.
He says, I got an apartment, and Bill O'Reilly's like, you got all this weather, whatever. He goes, I got an apartment. He goes, I don't have I got an apartment.
Right.
This
like he has a shoe
asshole. Dude, yeah, I don't know many apartments with like full-blown theaters in them. I've been in a lot of apartments. Right. I've never been in one. But like, it's like, I just don't get that need. Again, my theory is that if he does acknowledge how wealthy he is, he has to relinquish a little bit of the pity and the victim. I mean, this is a lifelong victim. Lifelong.
He doesn't have an apartment in fucking Manhattan. He has 2 floors in the Manhattan building, in the Millennium building, which is like the elevator goes to your house, not your house is on that floor. Your house is that floor.
Yeah, there's castles that don't cost nearly that much.
Absolutely.
Look at this. Look at the poodle on his head. This is the beginning of the hair too, man. When it really starts getting curly.
Oh yeah,
it starts getting shorter.
He gets rid of the wet look a little bit, and it starts turning into just a fucking SOS pad. Like I've always said that. Like it looks like you could scrub pots with that fucking hair of his. Eventually gets to that point. The bouffant.
Like a witch.
Yeah.
Doesn't he?
Let's figure it out. You ready? He sold out the garden, what was it, 15 times?
12.
Okay, 12 times.
What was the payday?
All right, I bought one of those tickets, which now that I know Kate, is the last time I'm doing that. It was like about
Artie had to buy tickets.
Average $100 a ticket.
Okay.
That's what they get for Springsteen and Billy Joel. So that's 20,000 people times 10. It's 200,000 people.
That's $200 million a night.
250,000 times 100. What's 250,000 times 100?
Let me do the math. Let's see. 0 times 0.
2.5 million, right?
That's 25 million.
0 times 0 is 0.
You said 100.
That's the key to figuring this out.
All right.
Once you know that, the rest is easy.
You said 100 times 2. What
250,000
times.
What riveting fucking radio.
What a failed. I mean, that is a bomb.
Yeah.
And he thought he was so clever with that.
Yeah.
I can't believe they're breaking down numbers like this. Like, Katie wants no part of it either. Has not bit into any of this shit.
Well, first of all, that's a conversation you have. Like, that's a conversation you have when you're, 11.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's all speculation. This is garbage radio.
Yeah, right. And who gives a fuck, ultimately? Like, okay, so he's rich. We know that. We've established that. He's a songwriter that had all kinds of hits when hits were hits. And, not just, streaming and downloading and YouTube views and all that shit. People bought physical copies of fucking music and commercial stuff, everything else, blah, blah, blah. So, and she's first of all, of the age, like, she's 20-something years old. No kid. She wants to have that kid. I think she's also a little worried, like, going in, what's this going to do to Billy? I'd love to hear what Billy's reaction to this interview was. We'll never know. But
I don't know.
Do you think he would have been like one of those people, like, don't ever fucking do that show again?
I don't know. I just don't think he cared.
Probably
to be
not.
Honest.
Probably not.
100.
Robin, allow me.
No, times 12.
Let me impress the
Times
girls
12.
with my math. Times 12?
Yes.
250,000 times 12? 2 times 0 is 0. That I know. 2 times 0 is 0. You do it again. And 2 times 0 is 0. Now, once you have that part figured out, you got to say that again. 2 times 5 is 10, carry the 1.
I believe he really, couldn't do the math.
Oh, without question.
Right.
Without
He's
question.
not going to divide it by 4 and just figure out it's 3 million.
He is witless.
Yeah.
2 times 2 is 4, and then you carry another one. That's $500 million. Right there.
No.
In one night. That's right.
No, he probably.
That's $3
I bet he
million.
made about $3 million for that.
$3 million a night.
Well, you have to pay your expenses. You
What
have to
expenses? That band? That's a
Katie's
makeup band,
outfit.
She's wearing.
Katie's outfit is the problem.
Oh, man.
Howard knows nothing about paying employees, so I genuinely think he was lost on that.
I remember reading about there's a book by this guy. He was the financial advisor for KISS. C.K. Lent was his name, and it's out of print now. I've looked for an online copy, but I have the original, but it's back in Canada. He was their book. He was basically their bookkeeper from the time they got really big until late 80s. Like he went through the lulls and the lows and the highs. And I think I remember telling a story here where they were in a lean time and he was trying to get them to calm down on their spending and whatever. Paul Stanley was making an album and he decided at the last minute to switch studios, even though they'd already booked studio time and the musicians were already set up to play in one studio. He wanted to go across town to another studio and it was going to cost like $50,000 because of the amount of studio time they'd already booked for much time, and they couldn't make up that shortfall because it was already reserved by them. So they had to spend money on the one studio, then they had to spend money on the other studio just to book the time and the time they lost. And then he said to the accountant, well, it's cheaper than not making an album. Which is actually a funny line, but like it just kind of to show you where their heads were at the time. Like who gives a shit?
Well, yeah. I mean, like the thing is too, people that played with someone like Billy Joel or Santana, Dennis Chambers, like these are you're not using run of the mill drummers or guitar. You're using like the best in the industry. And while they're not going to get paid like Ace Frehley or whatever, they're not cheap by any means. You got to pay for that type of shit, especially if you're charging what he was charging for a ticket. They're not going to stick some idiot up there in fucking Madison Square Garden by any means.
Anyway, they said that the real money is to do multiple dates, because once you've got everything set up, you're not paying the union crew to set up 3 and 4 times over 3 different cities. That one venue, you set it up, you tear it down afterwards. That's after 5 nights. All the second show and whatever you make is gravy, and that's where you really clean up. But when and then Roger Daltrey said in his recent book that he released, which was fantastic, he said the way tours are structured now, you only start getting comfortable the last few shows of the tour because you have to prepay for all this shit, insurance, for everything. He said you finally get into the black around the last few shows and you start to relax a little because they all sold out, this, that, and the other thing. And he said, I don't know how new bands do it. I really don't know. So Billy Joel, low setup, is a piano and a backing band that you never see. There's not much. It's not like you have pyro or you have, drum risers and all that shit. So his overhead would be a lot cheaper than a lot of the big bands for sure.
He made money. There's no doubt about it. It's just
for sure.
Slow Howard doesn't understand that musicians at that level do not have entry level people playing with them. You're paying real money to whoever's on drums. You're paying real money to whoever's on bass. Like, it's not cheap.
And everything else, the breakdowns of tours are actually quite astounding when you see where the expenses go, and transportation, hotels, craft services, all that, or whatever they call it, like food, all that stuff.
Howard, you should talk to him about jewelry because you do such a good job with Beth's jewelry.
You're saying Billy doesn't do well with jewelry?
Is Billy cheap? with jewelry?
No, he's not cheap. I think that once he bought me a piece of jewelry that I didn't like, and
Yes.
since then I haven't gotten any.
Let me see. Is
Got
Beth's
none.
engagement ring bigger than yours?
I don't even have mine on. But
You don't
yes,
even
hers
wear it.
is much bigger than
It is.
mine.
Good.
So you're outing your husband for being a cheap shit, or your fiance, husband, whatever.
Who the fuck wants to listen to this shit?
Nobody does.
Who wants to hear about their fucking engagement rings, man?
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hers is like triple of mine.
Good.
No.
Yes.
Good.
Howard is good with jewelry.
He is good.
Goddamn running.
I don't even have to
always
pick
has
it out.
something good on.
He picks it out.
That's right. Let's just say that you two are charming. And Katie Lee's
It's a
book.
wrap up.
That's right. What do you want, Ralph? Yes, I'm trying to wrap up. What is it?
Sorry.
Katie has to go to Miami.
One quick question. What's the prenup?
What do you mean?
How much do you get if you're getting divorced?
Oh my fucking lord! Like you got your beard next to her, and you got the guy whose cock you're really sucking on the air to ask a question that you didn't want to ask yourself, but you did want to ask, but you couldn't.
Of course. Of course.
Don't think he didn't type that in like somewhere and then send Ralph a message like, "Are you up? Call in. I want you to ask this shit."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And who would care?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess
His
I guess
audience
us.
could. I don't. That's the whole point. Is it's like your audience is sitting here, like we're sitting through it, but it's like, even if she throws out a real number, do you care? I don't. I mean.
Well, the contention was like you think let's say 10 years earlier, let's say it's 1998. She doesn't even get on the show.
Oh, no way she doesn't get on this show. No way.
No, I'm saying so no. So there she's always going to get on, or she wouldn't have 10 years.
She
earlier.
wouldn't have.
Okay.
She wouldn't have.
Fair enough, because he did have exes of like sisters and brothers of famous people that weren't famous themselves, because he was desperate to get at them or get some dirt.
This is like The View. This is like The View, except with less class.
Yes, if that's
this is not that far from it.
Mm-hmm.
I think his audience, they were just too conscious of their audience at that point.
Yes.
Beforehand, and they wanted to put on stuff that was going to keep pushing the envelope. I mean, this is a hard pass, man. This is some like serious privilege shit here. This is fucking stupid.
You can just imagine the Howard TV guys going, we have nothing. What are we cutting here? I mean, it's all fat. We have to release it, but no one's gonna. This is what's gonna lose us our jobs. Interviews like this.
There's so much room to just cut up on this girl. Like when you and I were looking at the stuff in the cookbook, like there's a pot pie. Like God knows we need another pot pie recipe. I mean, they could have really gone in on her.
No kidding.
But they didn't. This is The View.
That would be. Let
me see your ring.
That'd be funny. Let's compare it to Beth's. Let's do a little beard comparison side by side.
Right.
And meanwhile, he wants to know about jewelry or the ring. It's like, meanwhile, he got upset because Lisa G outed the cost of the ring on the air of how Beth's ring.
As if he picks out any jewelry or anything anyways. Does anyone even buy that?
No.
I
mean, if he's got Ralph picking out his underwear, I'm sure he's got other people picking out whatever fucking jewelry.
Exactly. Very, very forward. All right, Katie, answer the question. How much do you get?
None of your business.
There you go.
How dare you ask that question? Erin, go ahead in Jacksonville, Florida. Quickly, I'm trying to wrap up.
Yeah, really quick. I can tell that Beth and Katie are like best friends. You can't even tell the difference in their voice. They're having so much fun. When Katie said she is definitely having a baby with Billy, I immediately thought Beth is definitely going to get pregnant. When Katie gets pregnant, they'll be pregnant together within 2 months of each other.
I can't believe she figured out our plan.
Is that the plan?
That is the plan. We've been talking about that for years.
Yeah.
God. You think that call would have gotten through in 1998?
No. I mean, every call would have been like, "Do you take it up the ass?"
Yeah. Or they would have been like, oh, yeah, I'm sure it's a good thing Billy Joel doesn't have all that money. She would have been with him either way, right? You know, just calling him out on shit like that.
Absolutely.
That was like the View member standing up. You could just tell they love each other and
they're best friends.
How can you tell? Friends.
How can you tell from the sound of it? They sound like they're in front of a firing squad.
Yeah. They're being asked about their husband's pay. They don't sound like they're that close.
Right.
Who's the father?
Who they didn't know they'd be meeting with an accountant for an interview.
No kidding.
Fuck. How much you make last year? You know, was it over or under this?
I know I'm not involved.
I think she's saying Billy is the father.
Oh. Billy is fathering both of our children.
You're kidding me.
There's something we didn't tell you, Howard. We're really close.
That makes a lot of sense. All right. Let's go to Bill, a different Bill, not your Bill. Bill, go ahead in Rome.
Hey, now, Howard.
Yes.
I just want to tell Beth and Mrs. Joel there that people like me appreciate what they do for the animals.
Aww.
I don't have the power to do what they're doing, but I wish they did. I really appreciate what they do.
Thanks for saying that, Bill. And you can go to North Shore Animal League's website.
www.animalleague.org. Oh, thank you.
Now, Katie, you seem like a very nice person, Katie. Do you today on the private jet while you see your two dogs eating, a meal on a private jet, will it bother you that certain 7-year-old kids are going to starve to death tonight?
Oh,
that was a Hall of Fame line.
No, of course, you know that every fucking construction worker there is just laughing his ass off right now.
Oh, yeah.
And he was waiting for Howard to say something like that for 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking Artie's got to be dying and say he knows this is trash, man.
Of course.
Take it. And I like how he calls it out. Yeah, you're all about the animals. Are you thinking about all those kids starving to death while you're in your fucking private jet with your dogs?
Yeah.
That's what we're all thinking.
Well, of course. Absolutely. And the other thing is, guys, you have to remember that at this time, pre-summit, they would have as many repeat guests as they could have, but there's a wrap-up show segment that and I know I've got the audio, I've used it before. Gary's like, well, when we merge with XM, we'll be able to get the A-list stars we haven't been able to get, meaning like their ability to draw guests has incredibly diminished since they've gone over to satellite, which is something as a producer, you never let that cat out of the bag. You're showing your weakness. You're showing that you actually have less pull than you would normally have back when you had like 15 million listeners.
Well, yeah.
So this is a desperation kind of appearance.
That's kind of what I've talked about with the inflated numbers for his last contract. It's about preserving the brand. Yes. If it comes out that Howard Stern's making $150,000, no one's gonna send a celebrity over there to talk to him. Mm-hmm. You know, like it's just he's obviously not got the listenership. They don't disclose any of the numbers, you know. Nope. So that's all that was. He's not making that much, anywhere near that, actually.
Well, you said 150,000, like what, a year?
Right. No, that is like he's probably making more than that, but it's like your brand, if it really comes out, like you said, that you're not able to pull. There's a reason, but you know the thing that confuses me is, with all this stuff, like I know you guys have speculated, like, do they know that they know that people are not listening to them. Mm-hmm. These other companies, they know the other companies they're being sold something else. And I think they're being sold the Buckwald network, in that, hey, they might not hear them on Howard, but we'll make sure the interview goes viral or something, you know, like the Machine Gun Kelly stuff went viral, and like various other things. Like, it's not really the show, it's the press that spins off of the show almost now is bigger than him.
Well, it's bigger. It's big. It's definitely bigger than the show. And for example, the Springsteen interview that he did, right? It didn't even register really for the most part. And now, because Springsteen's still something of a name, it might have, but it didn't. It got like 136 out of 150 shows, cable shows, or whatever it is. Whatever it's, whatever that you call that. Whatever HBO qualifies as, and there's some of the names that beat it. First of all, The West Wing beat it. Several reruns of The West Wing, a show that was at this point like 14 years old, right? Mm-hmm. So you've got so Bruce Springsteen was not enough of a draw for people to give a fuck about Howard Stern. That's kind of, or even worse, and this is where the metrics get funny. No one wanted to see it because it was Howard Stern. Like literally, even Springsteen fans who said, "I don't want to see him on that fucking asshole show."
Listen, man, no one cares about Bruce Springsteen.
No, I don't think so.
Honest.
I think fans of Bruce Springsteen will go to his concerts, but they don't want to sit and listen to him for a fucking interview.
No, but like I guess my point is, what's being sold to these people is that don't worry about the Howard Stern show.
Right.
We're going to use that as sort of like the base and the medium to put you on Yahoo News, and because they have control over that. We've seen that already, where all these articles have come up about Howard. We're like, how the fuck did they do that? It's because of the networking that is agents or whatever. Some of these people are a part of like 3 or 4 agency groups.
Yeah, of course.
So I think that's what gets sold to them, because I don't think it's any secret to anybody that no one's listening to this show. I don't think it's a secret to anybody.
No, certainly not in the industry, I think.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Gonna feel bad for them.
Well, I mean,
absolutely. You'll feel bad.
Yes,
Absolutely.
she feels bad.
Now I'm going to feel guilty the whole way to Florida.
That was the point.
Joey
Boots.
He's just trying to ruin your life.
Joey Boots.
I wish I could.
Joey Boots in Lindenhurst. Go ahead, Joey.
Hey, Howard, how you doing, man?
All right.
Hey, Beth, check it out. Since you've got so much influence over Howard, he won't grab titties or ass anymore on the show.
I have nothing to do with that.
Okay,
Well,
so
listen.
would you give him permission right now to be able to grab ass and titties?
Honey.
On Katie?
No, not on Katie.
Oh.
Although Katie, Katie.
Yes, you fucking dumbass. Katie Lee Joel's tits. That's what Joey's asking about. He's talking about every other fucking dumb slut that comes on the show, porn star, where they used to feel tits, like, oh, are they real or not? Or how do they, what do the new implants feel like? Oh, you give them a 10. I give them a 6.
I don't like Beth's just vapid charm and her like naive little routine that she does.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're not talking about Katie, you fucking moron. They're talking about the strippers and what the stuff, the people we want to hear from right now.
Yeah, they'd be a lot funnier. Do you remember when Artie had there's a blind guy on? No, it was a blind Bunny Ranch girl, and Artie was giving her all kinds of questions like, well, how do you know, like, when you take a shit, how do you know that you're clean if you can't see the toilet paper?
Boy, this episode here is a far ways from that, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh God, it was one of
Katie
the
Lee's
funniest
cookbook.
Episodes. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Can I grab your ass and titties?
On George.
If you want it, I'll do it. I'll do it in the
so wait, he's
protest.
asking if I would give
In other
permission?
words, he feels you should give me permission to grab
I've
girls'
never
bras.
not given you permission
It's
to do
true,
that.
Joey.
Okay, would you explicitly give him permission to do it? Because Howard's
You want her to beg him to do it?
She's not going to beg. She likes that I
It'd be
don't.
crazy to beg him to do it, but
You like that I am exclusive to you.
I mean, I'm flattered, and that's beautiful, but I've never told you not to do anything.
I got to tell you, Boots,
She knows better. She needs to get that.
Care.
She got the ring, but she got to be married first of all.
She doesn't care.
But here's a question for you, Bob. Katie Lee already, so she did her 10 years in the service of Billy Joel, and then she split, or they, whatever. Who's the smarter grifter? And even though, she doesn't have access to that, she's now a name on her own. She doesn't need Billy Joel. She got in and she got out. She got her payoff. And then you got Beth, who's still with the fucking goblin. Who made out? Who's the smarter grifter? It's clearly
Who do you
Katie
think
Lee.
made out? What kind of question is that?
But I'm saying, like, you still have, like, do you think that it's smarter to stay with this guy thinking he's going to give you some huge mother load when he dies? Or Is it better to get your money and get the fuck out when you can still enjoy your life? I think there's no question. It's got to be Katie Lee.
It's got to be Katie Lee. And Katie Lee's thing that she had going on with this guy, Billy Joel, it's a different thing, I think, than Beth and Howard. I mean, there's more boundaries. She seems to have she doesn't seem as insecure to me. And when I first heard this interview, it was like, when she was talking about kids, I was like, as soon as I'm done listening to this, I already know they're divorced. She's not getting kids. And I knew that she wasn't going to give up on that because I could tell by how she was.
Yeah.
You know, I do think that she may have been attracted to Billy Joel on more levels than Beth is attracted to Howard. But yeah, you got to get out, man. Again, there's that old adage, when you marry for money, you earn every penny. Yeah. That's the truth. I've seen it many times, and that's the truth with Beth. I'm sure of it. It's not worth it.
No.
Yeah, I'm with you. At first, I thought that was the case, but I honestly, I buy Howard's explanation about why he's not doing it. I understand what you're coming
I have 3 daughters. Right. It's, they're older now.
You had 3 daughters when you were fucking playing anal ring toss, asshole. I hate when he throws that out. He's always had 3 daughters when he did all this shit.
Oh, I thought that they were talking about why he doesn't want kids because we were talking about it. No, they're talking about him not grabbing tits and stuff. Got it.
Yeah. He uses that excuse all the time. His kids don't even live with him anymore. He barely sees them, and he's bringing them up as some kind of like icon of, valor, like icon of chivalry. Like, I'm a father of 3.
Yeah, no.
No, I fathered 3 supposedly, and but you're not the fathers. As Jay Santi likes to talk about his dad, his sperm donor.
Well, yeah, that excuse would make sense if he stopped right after his kids were born, but he didn't.
Right, he didn't.
And that ship sailed a long time ago, man.
Big time.
Like, you're pretty into that.
I love when Artie said, he goes, it wasn't the bro fight, it was something else. Howard goes, look, I swear on the life of my children, but I think he said it the way he usually says, I swear on a stack of Bibles. And Artie goes, well, that's very meaningful to me because I know how much you follow the God or something like that.
Yeah, I know how religious you are.
Yeah. I love that line. It's so good.
They're older than a lot of the girls that are even on the show.
Yeah, I do.
It's odd.
And you want to know something? I do love Beth. And the fact of the matter is that there is a certain intimacy that we have that might get ruined.
He grabs my boobs all the time.
Yeah, you know what?
He has boobs.
I even yell at her and I say, you know what?
He's not missing anything.
Because of you, you're my exclusive sex object, so put out. Let's go.
Oh, please. We have so much sex.
But I have to berate you anyway. Ralph, you're on the air.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
One last quick question. How hot would it be if Katie and Beth were making out?
Oh,
my God.
Do you two ever have any fantasies about one another?
Yes, I do.
Katie, Beth, you hang out.
Oh, all the time.
Katie,
why do you think we're such good friends?
Honestly, you're telling me you're around my Beth and you don't think about having sex with her ever?
How could you not?
I look at Katie as one of the most beautiful women in the world, but it's not a sexual thing.
If I was to watch you two.
Ralph, you're so bad.
Katie, no attraction to Beth that way?
Not that way, no. I think Beth is one of the most beautiful women in the world.
Have you ever fantasized about being with another woman?
Yeah.
No.
Is that true?
Well, I mean, like, I've thought, what would it be like to have a threesome? But I think it would be too much work, And
nothing wrong with hard work.
Would it be Beth and Howard if it was a threesome?
Do you want to? Oh, that's a hard no. That's like a hard no many lifetimes over.
And they were laughing before that even came out of his mouth. Again, it's one of these things where you just know it's coming. That hacky. They're gonna ask us if we want to do a threesome. Like, we already know that.
Yeah.
Like, can't you just skip over that hack shit?
Well, I mean, to be honest, if they're going to have, like I said earlier in maybe part 2, in the old days, he was a better judge of how long to make an interview because he could tell based on his own interest that this wasn't going any further. So cut it off at 10 minutes or 15 or 20. But here it's like he's got so much time, so much real estate to fill up. When he doesn't have it, all of a sudden he's got a riff or he's got to come up with something else. He doesn't have a plan B. And he should have a list of shit in front of him. Like, well, if this guy cancels, then we can always talk about this. Always. You know what I mean? It's like a mother going on a plane with a fucking toddler and making sure they have game A through Z, to keep the kid occupied so he's not screaming the entire fucking flight. If you're a prepared parent, unfortunately that doesn't always happen, and certainly doesn't happen on this show. So he had to do whatever he could to make this an hour. And no joke, guys, it's an hour and 4 minutes. This particular, almost an hour and 5 minutes. This Howard TV episode. Usually they're under 45. Yeah. So that just gives you an idea of what kind of filler this was.
Yeah, he wanted some info out of her. After that, he couldn't get anything.
Yep.
Join Beth and myself in bed? Is that what you're trying to hint at here?
No.
Honey,
I love you guys.
Honey, if Katie came to you, I love Billy, but I need to be with a woman. And
I would laugh because I know she wouldn't be serious. Yeah. That's not.
You would
a
laugh.
thing.
What if she
said,
was,
look,
Beth?
I need to be with Howard and you. Would you allow that when we don't tell
Yeah,
Billy?
I would allow it.
You would.
Absolutely.
And it's our little secret. And then when we go out to dinner with Billy, we laugh behind his back.
That's all.
I like that.
I have my girl crush. That'll work, girl.
But Katie, you went to college in the late 90s. Surely you kissed a girl in college.
No, I've never kissed a girl ever.
Come on.
I promise.
Robin, have you kissed a girl?
No.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Robin's
I'm not
done
into
everything.
it. Like
Robin did, but Robin's done anal.
Yeah.
Neither is JD. You guys got a lot in case you go out with JD.
Katie, I can almost. Katie, I know you. I know you've never done anal.
No.
You've never tried.
No, that is exit only.
Really?
Exit only.
You're not curious.
No.
I feel you are.
And apparently the exit is busy.
Yeah, let's go to Mike. Mike, you're on the air. Yes, Mike.
It's a heavily trafficked off-ramp there.
Oh, God.
Quickly, Mike, quickly. We're running out of time here. I have to get to the rest of the show. Yes.
I am just curious if Katie has any insight as to why Billy was so uncomfortable on Oprah.
Oh, what happened there? That's right.
I didn't like how Oprah treated Billy.
Well, you know what? He's not comfortable on TV to begin with.
No,
That's true.
He does not like doing TV. That's not his medium, so he was uncomfortable from the start.
Right.
But nothing happened there. They weren't doing anything backstage.
Yeah, I'm sure so much of Howard's audience wants to know why he was uncomfortable on Oprah, or even know what the fuck they're talking about right now.
Well, the context is lost. And the other thing is, of course, it's Howard picks these fucking questions, whoever's calling in, and he decided, he's got nothing. So I imagine there's actually a dearth of fucking callers. I imagine he had to pick up whoever he had and go with it.
Yeah, he secretly wants ties to Oprah and wants to be in the conversation as Oprah, but like when this came up, I have no clue what they're talking about.
Yeah, it's a bad question because you need to now suddenly know about Billy Joel on Oprah. You'd have to follow Billy Joel like you'd follow a group he follows a fucking band, because who gives a shit?
It's not like a well-known event,
It's also not like Billy Joel's a recluse and he doesn't do press or whatever. Like, it would have been one of a million interviews anytime he's going to go on tour and do these 5-minute spots with someone. Who gives a shit? I'm going to be appearing at such and such. See me there. Right. That's how it works. Big deal. There's nothing revelatory. It's not like he sat down with, I don't know, Charlie Rose and did an in-depth interview about his songs and his parents and this, that, and the other thing. So is his Oprah interview something really good? I don't know. Maybe we should look and see if there's something out there. And there was some. You want me to check and see what they're referencing, and then we'll go back to this?
I think they talk about it. She makes them uncomfortable about something. I don't really know.
Okay, give me 1 sec, and I'll just see offhand if it exists. Guys, I found the art there. I found something that relates to the article, but it was from a 2013 article by Craig Rosen on Yahoo Entertainment, and he recounts it. It was a 2008 appearance. Almost everyone loves Oprah, but don't count Billy Joel among them. In a new interview published in the New York Times Magazine, the piano man comes clean about his 2008 appearance on Oprah that ended up focusing on his drinking, car accidents, and divorce. Sounds like that's the interview Howard wanted to do but couldn't.
Seriously.
When interviewer Andrew Goldman notes that Joel looked uncomfortable. The superstar confirmed that was the case, saying, "I was very uncomfortable. I was in shock. I didn't realize behind me there were these screens of like auto accidents and things about driving and divorce. I thought it was going to come on and talk about music." That sounds exactly that's exactly it. Howard's pissed he couldn't get this interview.
This is yeah. So this interview happened on Oprah, but the cookbook with his wife is going on Howard.
Well, this is the funny part. Joel went on to explain that he only agreed to do the show because his wife at the time, Kate, had a book coming out and she begged him to do it, but Joel had a bad feeling going into the interview.
Oh no.
That's horrible.
Oh no.
So he said, I said, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Don't make me do it. Don't make me do it. But I said, okay, I'll do it. And it's going to suck. And sure enough, it did. The worst part for Joel was that his daughter, Alexa Ray Joel, saw it and it made her cry. She thought it was a mean line of questioning and she knew it wasn't happy. Joel says of his daughter, she could see it. This is why I didn't want to do the show. I don't like doing TV, especially a show like that. All of those touchy-feely kind of shows like The View or Oprah, people talk about their feelings. I don't like that.
Oh no, I didn't. That's pretty great. I'm glad we looked into that. That's not what I was expecting.
Well, me neither, actually. And so the fact that she crowbarred him into doing the show and it came off that bad, I looked it up. It's not online as far as I can tell. There's some kind of portion of it where she visits their house and they do a little 2-minute run through, but it doesn't exist anywhere that I can see. But that's fun. That's even better because so she's whoring this fucking cookbook. She's getting him to whore this fucking cookbook and he has nothing to do with it.
Oh, I want to hear that interview now.
Oh fuck! Let me see. I
want to hear it more than I want to hear this shit.
Okay, Billy Joel interview Oprah again. Oprah. Let's see. Maybe there's a transcript or something. Okay, video. No way.
Oh God, that's great. She was interviewing him, and there was photos of car accidents.
I'd love to fucking see that. That would be fantastic.
What a piece of shit. That's great. Meanwhile, on Howard, how big is your ring? Is it bigger than my Beth's? Fucking fruit.
There you go. Okay.
Why? So
no.
Why would he do an interview on Oprah? Because she has a cookbook. Like, was it that tied in with each other, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, do you really need to? I don't know. I just don't get it.
That's so fucking funny. The only reason why he did it is because of her. Oh my God. That's fucking great.
No, not that. They don't even have it up here. That's too bad.
She must have really fucked him.
Oprah. Let's see, Oprah.com. Maybe she's got it. I might have to. Hold on. Guys, I looked desperately. There's nothing. It's not on Oprah.com, and she has more than enough pull to just keep her own stuff that they sign a waiver to be on those shows, the guests. So she would have been able to. She would have been able to put it up if she wanted, but I'm sure the thing came in that Billy hated the fucking interview, and he said, if you want me on again, you'll get rid of that interview, and that's when she pulled it on his request.
That's so funny, man. Oprah really fucking piece of shitted it up for that.
Okay, well, and the funny part is so Howard couldn't get Billy for the interview for this, most likely on the strength of that Oprah interview. Like after that, he's like, so Billy Joel had to whore for his wife's cookbook, who's a whore. And he had to whore for the whore and got fucked on Oprah. And it was like, do you remember when Artie did Joy Behar? And then she started talking about AA. And he's like, no. It was pretty much of a train wreck. And he goes, aren't we supposed to, isn't AA anonymous? Aren't we supposed to talk about, the book? Why are you bringing up every salacious, shitty point of my life? Even if I do, why wouldn't you talk up how good the book is, or why wouldn't you talk about what a success, this kind, the lighter side of everything?
Yeah, wouldn't you think he would go on Howard Stern to be interviewed? Like, I don't get the crossover here that it'd be like Oprah. It said that she pressured him into doing the interview because she had a cookbook coming out, right?
Yeah.
So what was it? She was going to sit there and talk to him, and then at the end, oh yeah, by the way, that his whore wife has a cookbook coming out. Like,
ever wanted to know how to make a burger?
I don't see the like tie-in there. Whereas if you could get on Howard, he could ask those types of bullshit questions and then be somewhat more relevant. But even Katie knew no one listens to the show. So.
Well, so that was it. You think it was just desperation? She decided, okay, I'm going to do whatever I can to fucking plug this cookbook out. I'll go on Howard. And he reached out certainly to Billy, and Billy probably said, no fucking way.
Yeah, I don't get, I don't get, so this whole interview would have gone down with Oprah about Billy and his life, and then right at the end there'd be half a second plug for her book. I'm just looking at it like the risk to reward. Okay, the risk is that what happened to him would happen to him. Yes. And what's the reward? That they'll plug her shit cookbook. This is these old guys that get in with these young girls. They wind up doing anything they ask them to do, man, and they get in trouble.
I'm sure that was it. I'm sure she promised him like a fleet of blowjobs and said, I'll do this.
Sure.
And here's the other thing. If they did it in watching the interview, we can't know from the I have to maybe get if there's a transcript out there, wonderful. I didn't see anything. And normally if the video is scrubbed, that's going to get scrubbed too. But you can't stop other people from writing about it, of course, and putting it on a blog or whatever, fans and stuff.
Right.
How are they going to crowbar it into a Billy Joel segment on Oprah that's usually like an hour, and all of a sudden, so Katie, you have a cookbook. This would be like Beth coming on and plugging that gift descriptions.
That's what I'm saying. Like
you think people are not going to see all through? Like, so we put up with the rest of this for the sake of this plug-a-roo?
Like in Katie's stupid mind, how did she see that going? Like, oh, Billy, fuck talking about your divorce. Let's talk about your wife's shitty cookbook. Come on up here, Katie.
What does it say that she couldn't get on Oprah, so she had to settle for this fucking pelican?
This show has such little pull.
Yes.
That he couldn't get Billy, who apparently he knows personally.
Right. And supposedly they're friendly with. Yeah.
Well, their wives are best friends, right?
Right. BFFs. Yeah.
BFFs. They sound like each other or whatever that fucking moron said they call. But
they're both from Long Island or whatever the fuck. Yeah.
Like, he couldn't give him a call and be like, hey, man, I'm going to ask you some crazy shit. He knows, I know you're going to ask me some crazy shit. Just don't go too. But, like, Billy was like, no, it's not even worth it for us to go on Howard. It's not even worth it. The only way it'll be worth it is if we go on the largest thing, which is Oprah, because your book is such a nothing that we'd have to be on something that big to generate any interest.
And the irony is Billy went and did Howard like years later, like maybe 5 years later, 6 years later.
Sure, that was a great interview.
When he had even less pull. I don't think I ever saw it, but there's probably a clip of there somewhere on YouTube. Anyway, we'll continue.
That made him uncomfortable.
No, not at all. He's just really uncomfortable on TV.
Did you feel that Oprah was good to him or understood what he's contributed to popular culture?
Well, I think that it was a live show, and it would have been nice to get to more of his accomplishments.
Right.
I love the spin. I love the spin here. She sandbagged him and asked him about his horrible divorce.
Everything.
His DUIs, like the lowest ones. He's uncomfortable being on TV. Yeah, I think we all would be a little uncomfortable being on TV talking about our lowest, most humiliating moments.
Well, and then now I have to think about this from another perspective. What if Oprah was told, like, you get this interview if we get to talk about this cookbook, and Oprah, as a spiteful person, said, fine, you want to do this fucking interview? We're going to talk about every shitty part of your life. I don't like being told what to do.
That's how it goes. You get taxed in this industry. Mm-hmm. You pay a tax. You want to come on and talk about your wife's cookbook.
We're going to have to talk about this other shit.
You're going to get taxed.
Yeah,
exactly. Because no one cares about her cookbook, right?
No. Right.
So what are they going to talk about? What people want to hear? What do people want to hear? You at your lowest moment.
Yep, absolutely.
And I think that he's, one of the most talented men in the world.
Oprah sucked Stevie Wonder's balls practically when he was on.
She's
and
done
Billy
lesser people than that.
That's
I told
right.
you, James Blunt.
James Blunt got his asshole sucked. and James Blunt isn't a pimple on Billy Joel's ass.
But Oprah was great with Katie.
She was great with me.
Great. And that was the point.
She was terrific.
All right.
That was the point. And there you have it. Her husband gets crashed, racked over the coals, but she was good with Katie, so fuck him.
Fuck him. If I were Billy, hearing this interview and just hearing that moment right there, I would be fucking livid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not taking the private jet back, you fucking moron. You're taking the Greyhound.
Take those pugs and just fucking hitch a ride back in a station wagon. Fucking cunt.
What a fucking dirtbag.
We'll see how many fucking dinner dates you get. Maybe make yourself some fries while you're at it.
Yeah.
We both still like Oprah.
Okay. Rick, finally, one last question from Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, thanks, Howard.
What's that?
What did he say about sucking an asshole? I've never heard that term in my fucking life, by the way. Have you?
I have heard that, yeah. Suck someone's
an
ass.
asshole?
Yeah.
I've heard suck someone's ass.
Yeah.
Never heard suck someone's asshole. Those have two different images in my mind.
Well, because he's speaking from experience. He's sucked a few assholes. Maybe he's felched Ralph a bit. I don't know. Like he's got because remember that whole phrase was her whole asshole was hanging out.
Yeah, the asshole. I've heard go suck someone's ass. Sure.
Yeah.
I've never heard go suck
ass.
an ass. A sucking asshole. That hole makes all the difference there, man.
Whole lot of love.
Doesn't it? Like, it's a weird thing to say, man.
Well, yeah.
Who the fuck is James Blunt?
James Blunt did James Blunt did hold on. I'm trying to make sure it's not the other guy, Sam Smith. James Blunt did that song, You're Beautiful. You're beautiful, it's true. And it's like a really fruity song. And they were making fun of it one time on the air, and Artie was saying, this is a great soundtrack if you're blowing a guy. And
it is really soft. I know it now.
Like if a song could look like Pussy, it would probably be that song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Super soft. And also Stevie Wonder is a magnificent musician,
legend.
I think he's one of probably the best musicians to ever live,
without question. Which
I do not put Billy Joel in that category personally.
No way.
I'm just speaking objectively.
Yeah.
I don't listen to Stevie. I don't listen to him every day, or I don't own anything from him. But I've heard both musicians, and they're not even close to being on the same level.
No, as songwriters, performers, you name it. But Stevie was a prodigy. I mean, that guy was he was backing legends as a fucking teenager. Like legends in the blues field, jazz, soul, you name it, as a session person. Then when he started doing his own stuff, and again, composition, that was the way to do it. Singer, songwriter, he just destroyed. Like he was like surpassing Marvin Gaye. He was, he's on the level of Prince, except Prince had probably a lot. They probably had similar level of really successful period in terms of his peak and Prince's peak, but that they were just different eras completely. There was a little crossover, but in terms of the amount of excellence from point A to point B, where it starts getting mediocre, Stevie had a huge hit run and a huge critical fucking success, kind of thing. And Prince was the same. Prince had his own little, sections of a decade where he was the critics wet their pants about him, and he was still making money as a legit charting artist.
I mean, I was raised on all that stuff. That's what my mom listened to, was the Motown and Prince and Stevie. I don't listen to a lot of that now. But I just remember being very captivated by Stevie Wonder and thinking like, wow, this is a really exceptional, elite, like top 10. Maybe I'm sucking his asshole too much. I don't know, but I put him pretty high up there, like in comparison with Billy Joel, man.
Oh, me
and
too.
I feel bad if there's some Billy Joel fans listening to this, but I've just never felt anything towards him. I don't think he's a bad musician by any means, but he's just never done anything to have me listen to more and really be like, yeah, this is one of the all-time greats. Maybe he is, just not for me.
Maybe also because it was he didn't need more of a push. Billy Joel, he was already massively huge on the radio at some point, like in the mid 80s. I mean, he was like almost like Phil Collins level, like you couldn't escape him. So it's not like he needed to push ever anyway, Billy Joel.
Yeah.
You know,
all right.
So he's not suffering, but he did. The critics hated him. The critics fucking loathed Billy Joel. And I'm certain it's because, number one, of his attitude. And second of all, they probably just there was probably a little bit of a racial element to it. Like they just hated this rich white kid, you know, talking about his problems, singing about his problems. No one can relate. I don't know.
He was a rich kid.
I don't know if he's rich, but by the time he became, because he was pretty huge pretty quickly, he became big in not much time at all. But Bruce didn't get that. Bruce Springsteen didn't get the same kind of critical bashing that Billy Joel did. And I think maybe it wasn't even race. It was more along the lines of he had such a horrible attitude, like a chip on his shoulder. And Bruce was always a little more humble the way he approached press, and didn't actually do a whole lot of press, to be honest. That's the other thing.
I'm going to listen to Billy Joel this weekend.
Yeah.
And get a good taste. Just out of curiosity.
I think
I've always thought he was fucking whatever every time I've heard.
Yeah, his music does nothing for me, but I think it's mostly it's just pap. You know what I mean? Like it was just really radio pablum, and I was always going to go into the harder edged shit anyway. But from a like it never drew me in. You're right. It was nothing. It didn't speak to me at all.
No, I mean it does not speak to me whatsoever. And I hear it, and I'm like, yeah, it's a well put together song, and he can play. Is it that compelling of a song to me? Not really. Not in general. Like it's never been enough. I don't know.
Like you listen to all those
like
big
his
songs. Wife. Yeah, New York State of Mind, you know, like Uptown Girl, you know, River of Dreams, you know, what's that one? Piano Man. Like I heard Piano Man so many. That's the huge one, and I hated that song. I hated that
song. That's the only one I know. What you just said. I'm sure if I heard something, I'd be like, oh, that's him. Yeah. But I just know that song Piano Man, and I cannot stand that song.
No.
I hate that song so much, dude.
I'm the same, yeah.
Beth, I've always suspected that you hate the idea of being spanked, but...
Howard spanked me.
I've spanked her. She's been bad.
How did you get that idea, sir?
Well, just because it seems like Beth needs more of that control, then I didn't think that she would let Howard have
Honey, you don't let me spank you anymore, though. You don't like it. I don't think.
You still pull my hair sometimes, but sometimes I'm like, oh, that hurts. Let's just...
Like the way a rider pulls the reins on a horse.
I was going to say, what's there to spank? She has no ass. Like, look at her knee. I feel like spanking an ankle or something.
Yeah, if you taking the reflex of the knee. Testing your reflex.
A knee chop. Her leg moves when he spanks her.
Yeah, there's Robin went to Laos, and there's a waterfall. I've been there, actually. Kanchi Waterfalls, and it's like layers of water. And when you see it, you can't take your when you get there, you can't imagine how fucking amazing it is. And Howard was poo-pooing it and shit.
Wow.
Yeah. So gorgeous.
It's like something from Avatar or something.
Yeah. And I think they got their idea from that. I took some time-lapse photography there, and it was just unbelievable. You could swim in there if you wanted to. There's certain sections of it you could swim, and the water was just amazing. And Howard was all poo-pooing and like, why would you leave? Why wouldn't you go to Vermont? You fucking jerk off.
Vermont. Look at this shit. It literally doesn't even look real.
Yeah. Unbelievable. This is the other one, the Bangyok waterfalls. It was either Laos or Changshi waterfalls or these ones. And look at who wouldn't go here.
Man, someone posted a video in the Philippines the other day. I was like, fuck, I gotta go there, man. The beach was amazing.
Like you could walk across, you could just fucking stay there for forever.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
When did she do this?
Over the winter break, over the Christmas break and New Year's.
Oh, recently.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm if the phone's buzzing too much, I'm getting a bunch of messages about my name day. Anyway, yeah, that was that's when they celebrate the patron saints of whatever you like. If you're named Saint Michael, all the Michaels in Greece get messages from people. Happy name day.
Gotcha.
Anyway, so she went to one of these places and on a guided tour, and I've been to the one in Laos. I haven't been to this one, but I could spend all day photographing it, drone and all that shit. Just mind blowing. And he was like, "Why wouldn't you go to Vermont?" This is why, asshole.
Someone posted a video of their hotel, and I believe it was the Philippines.
With an older man, are there times where Billy feels the need to scold or spank you?
Right. Does Billy ever?
I don't know that he feels the need to.
Does Billy ever feel he has to give you corporal punishment because you've been bad?
Well, he's spanked me before, but
Yeah.
I don't think that he's ever scolded me.
Well, you might need a little scolding. All right, listen. This is all right. One last comment. Go ahead. Yes, Andy. You're the last word in Randolph, New Jersey.
Howard, it's a privilege to speak to you. I got to tell you, when I heard you were having Billy's wife on, I said, oh, my God, Howard has jumped the shark. How could this interview possibly be interesting at all? And you have shown why you are the king of interviews, because this interview has been knocked out of the ballpark. Great interview.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah,
and
don't
I
second
credit.
guess.
Yeah.
You bring it all out in the guests. Beth seems like she's having fun there. It's been a nice.
No, the guest was correct, and he's just kissing his ass. Like there's no one objectively could listen to this interview and say it was any good for reasons other than mockery.
Dude, right before he calls, he said to the girl, does Billy spank you? She said, I don't know, kind of, maybe. I don't think he feels the need to. Yeah, you really brought it all out of her on that, didn't you?
Yeah, totally.
Kind of, maybe, I might. That was such a nothing response. Yep. All these callers suck. Like, seriously. The callers are nothing. Like, this is... Anyways.
Like, if Billy Joel scored his own porn using his own music, no one would get an erection.
No kidding.
Fucking hell.
Honest interview, a great perspective on Billy's life also from another angle.
And let's face it, I almost have the two of them in bed with me behind Billy Joel's back. What a great accomplishment. My greatest accomplishment ever. Well, I suggest... All right, thank you. And let your boyfriend Double A say hello to you. Double A, quickly, come on.
Hey, Howard, how's it going?
Yes.
What's going on? I just want to thank Beth for once again doing such a beautiful thing for the animals, and she could count me in on Team Beth, though.
Oh, yay.
Absolutely going to be
Will you run?
You're going to run the marathon with her?
Absolutely.
Really?
Oh, wow.
How about if he's the only one running with you? Yes, Double A.
Listen, she's a very beautiful girl, and she is a true. I never understood the meaning of inner beauty until I met Beth. She's a very.
Who do you love?
Oh, fuck.
Jesus.
You want to talk suck asshole?
She's a grifter that cheated on everyone she'd been with. That's the standard of inner beauty.
But keep in mind that doesn't come out until a couple years later.
Well, even then, I mean, like, she's obviously not a beauty. She's a gold digger, straight the fuck up.
Right. There's no two ways.
Or the girl on Dancing with the Stars The
that Huff girl?
The Huff girl or Beth?
Oh my God! I don't even know what Dancing with the Stars is.
That's at least what a normal guy would say.
Right.
Dancing with the Stars. We just covered what was it? Oh my God. God, I can't even recall what it was. But either way, that he has a. Do you watch Dancing with the Stars? No. Like what man, what woman watches this? Like, there's he already was saying you're the straightest man I know, but with the gayest habits. I think he got that half right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really know. Is Double A from Chicago? He kind of sounds like he is.
I don't recall his origin story. I just know that after he got busted with possession of kitty porn, they never had him on again.
He did?
I believe so, yeah. That's why we call him.
He won the lottery or something,
we called him
right?
Double pedophile, or we call him all kinds of shit. He did.
I never really understood. I never got who he was. I just gathered that he won the lottery and had this thing with Beth. Like every time he'd call in, it was like this over the top bullshit.
Yeah, sycophantic bullshit.
All right. Okay. All right. That's
Great answer. You know what? I have to tell you, my driver saw you the other day, and when I got back into the car, he said to me, "Oh my goodness, I've seen Beth, but I've never seen her close up." And he was almost a poet.
He was
I said, "You ought to call in," and he said, "Her."
Oh fucking hell!
Was this before or after Robin slapped the shit out of him? And he made him wait in the cold.
The one limo driver that answered the call and wasn't hiding from her.
That
oh,
I'm telling you, one of the funniest moments was when it was that limo, when they were talking about how crazy she was, and that limo driver called in and she's like, "What service are you with?" And he said the name. She goes, "Oh yeah."
Like completely busted. Not even. There wasn't even like a second's hesitation.
Her eyes are like chandeliers. I was like, "My
so
goodness."
beautiful.
I said, "You have to call in with us." He said, "No, she'll think I'm a stalker."
Yeah, I'm going to have him locked up.
I need to hear those things.
And
by the way,
a stalker like
Robin's
Double A.
No, she's not hearing it at home. That's for sure. He's probably hearing, "Get this, fetch this, fucking, my back hurts. Get my extra wig, fucking,
quit
can you
shitting."
But yes, don't shit. Can you scrape the gunk off my fucking the calluses off my feet?
Quit shitting so much. Stop eating.
Stop eating. Don't drink alcohol.
Fucking bullshit story Robin just said. And by the way, Robin looks pretty good during this time. When
she lost the weight there, yeah, she absolutely got kind of, that was when Florentine had her. And
really?
Yeah, pretty much. This is about the era. Yeah. Green drink, starvation and everything. And then, all of a sudden she discovers cheeseburgers again and Friendly's ice cream. Yep.
Driver is Brad Pitt. Pretty good.
Maybe your mom will be happy.
Boy, the creepy meter hit red with that, huh?
Katie, I know you have to jet off. In 2 hours, you'll be in your bikini by the pool, and I don't want to keep you from that. I mean, we could sit here and talk all day, right, Artie? Artie, you okay?
Yeah.
Cookies. How many cookies has Artie
What'd you put in there? Acid?
It's almost
Artie's eyes
empty.
What is that, George?
The tray is almost empty. 1, 2, 3,
Cookie Monster.
4 cookies left.
Oh my gosh.
How many cookies did you bring?
Probably 20.
Oh my God.
There's Artie eating the cookies. Look, you can see it in high speed. There it is. It's sped up, so you can see it's
That's real speed.
That's real speed.
Like, we laugh about it, and I did laugh at the time. Not that this, but they did another one where they added music to it, and I did think it was funny. But at the same time, I did think, it's that exploitation. Like, you're just basically fat shaming, or just putting a video on him to make him look like shit, basically.
Dude, he looks terrible.
And he does, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, he really doesn't look good. Like, it's a joke how bad he looks, but like, man, that's real life. That's how he's walking around at that point. He looks bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God.
All right. That is if you put that on TV, that's the best commercial for your cookies.
I know.
I look like the cookie.
You know what? You know what was funny when I was thinking about this last night when she first came in and brought him those cookies, like even Robin was like, what's the new take on a chocolate chip cookie?
Right.
And the funny thing is that's every recipe in that horrible book she put together. Spaghetti and meatballs, chocolate chip cookies.
I know there are people that pride themselves on their baking and stuff. I'm a take it out of the fucking box, add the ingredients, shove it in the oven, and then you add what you want kind of person. You know, I go with basic shit. So I threw some Brazil nuts in it, crushed them up, and I go, okay, you need some kind of, and they turned out fantastic, better than if I could have made it from scratch. But you're right. There's certain products that they're done. They're dummy proof now. You don't need.
Dude.
You know,
there's no such thing as a bad chocolate chip cookie. Well, her response was, sometimes I put dried cherries in them. Do you remember that?
I do, yeah. Like, well, no one's ever thought of that.
Well, first off, you didn't hear, right?
Yeah.
And these are your cookies, but
right.
That's such a shitty thing to add, by the way. But like, I just thought it was funny that she kind of got called out. Like, what's the new take on that? And then when you really look at her recipes, like biscuits, pot pie, spaghetti and meatballs, lasagna, like.
It just makes me think of that Three's Company episode where Jack's dressed up like a grandmother because they entered him Larry entered him in a contest as a grandmother tripper, and someone kicks over his ingredients, so he goes over to Terry and says, "Look, what do you got? I can't just win with chocolate chip cookies." She pulls out some shit from her purse and he throws it in. He said, "I'll just make it work." And then the judge comes over and he said, "One of these cookies our judges ate, and it cured his sinuses because it was cough drops."
Yeah.
And like, what do you call them? He goes, chocolate mint surprise cookies, you know. And you know, that as a comedic thing, you could have fun with that. But for fuck's sake, the cookbook guys, again, we covered it, I think, in part 1. And if I could put some stills, I'll see if I can remember to put the stills in the Patreon, because you guys will have fun with that shit. Oh my Lord. So here we go. The outro stuff, of course, we have to have.
Hey, Lisa G. How are you?
Katie, you survived.
I survived. It was fun. We were on a long time, weren't we?
Yeah, it was almost an hour, I'd say.
Oh my gosh, wow. Your West Coast friends are gonna in for a treat.
Katie, you were a little bit nervous. Which part was the most nerve-wracking during the interview?
How many people have I had sex with?
He never really got a number out, did he?
I know,
That's good.
No numbers.
You avoided it, and the duty questions, and there was probably.
I don't care talking about that.
That was easy?
I think that's funny.
Now, what advice would you give?
Beth said at one point in the interview, Howard grabs my boobs. Like he always grabs my boobs. What boobs?
Yeah.
Like her implants.
Same thing.
Where did her implants go, dude? Like, dude, where's my implant?
Smacks her ass and grabs her tits, neither of which actually exist. You know?
Like, can you hit on a slide ruler? Can you molest a kneecap?
They're pretty low there, man.
Yeah, I don't know. This is the fun bags have definitely been the air's been let out of the balloons for certain. Now I do know that, like, at one point, I don't know what the technology is like now, but at one point they're still in the field of breast reconstructive surgery or whatever, like fake tits. You had to replace the implants every so often. Like it was advisable to change them or what have you, and then people of course would change them to get them smaller, get them bigger, whatever the fuck, get them tightened up, as they say, like you're spinning, like you're rotating the tires on your car. And she went at one point there. She went to a cycle where she had nothing in there. Like she decided, I'm letting them go. How can you not mention that if this is the Howard Stern show, right?
Yeah, I would imagine she'd be pretty flat-chested without implants.
And she was, yeah. Those FHM pictures are the perfect example of like what, and those. And to be honest, if you're that skinny, you should be avoiding implants, or you should getting some that don't really look that obvious. And at that point, shitty doctor, also shitty physique. You're maybe not going to be able to pull them off without looking fake.
Right. Howard used a Groupon to get them. Cheap motherfucker.
Steven Singer plastic surgery.
Can one of our sponsors, do they do this?
You see Nobu on the inside of one of the tits. Nobu fillet, scallop tits.
To someone who knows Howard off the air and is about to go in for the first time now that you've done it.
I guess just be honest, have a good time, laugh.
Honesty will always kind of diffuse anything that Howard's trying to get out of you.
Yeah, you just tell the truth, be yourself.
Right. How do you think she did, Beth? I mean,
she's great.
Tell the truth. That's the worst thing you can do.
She is a good-looking girl. I kind of take back my things that upset.
Your initial, she's like a fucking Ohio 4 or whatever.
I probably said something insensitive
6.
like that, but she's got that, like, if she had a little bit of Brazilian, like a couple, like a little exotic element, she'd be like super hot, but she's good looking. She's a good looking girl for sure.
No, she's not a bad looking girl by any stretch. It's but I think she looked a little evil though. That's just the way that her in repose, like she seems almost not. It's not resting bitch face, but she has insufferable kind of. It looks like there's a palpable disdain on her face, even when she's not speaking. You know what I mean?
I did notice that this time, like when she wasn't phony smiling, it was sort of a very flat. Side eye. and Beth with the finger pointing and the just a complete discomfort in front of the camera. Anyway, let's keep going.
Terrible. And how we all know each other, and Howard and Katie
we're
are close, so it was fun.
Right.
It's easy.
That was fun.
Cool.
And her cookbook is amazing. So.
And what's it called again?
The comfort table.
The comfort table. All right, great. Good luck with that, Katie. And
Thanks,
you. Beth.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
God.
Okay.
So Beth
we'll leave
just
that
has
there.
some big, clumsy hands.
And she also draws attention to them by having all kinds of bangles around each wrist. Like it looks like, they look like Shang-Chi in the 10 Rings or some shit. Like
they're big hands.
Yeah, they're huge. They're she can palm a basketball easy.
They're big, knuckly kind of hands.
Tell us what you do, and that's it.
So you're resentful of Howard's success and where he is? He lives that kind of life?
Not Howard. Howard deserves every ounce of success because he's brilliant.
Does Billy Joel deserve everything?
Absolutely, and that's why he's getting his dick sucked by Katie.
Okay, does the person that's with him deserve it?
Yes.
So then what? I'm not sure what your issue is then.
The issue is to me, I just would like to have a more, I guess, more of a hardcore, down-to-earth interview. Me personally, it's my taste, I don't like the lavish lifestyle interview. That really, it kind of turns me off a little bit.
What should the income level be of non-famous?
It's not about income.
But if that's her,
it just seemed very pretentious.
But that's her lifestyle.
That's exactly right. It's very pretentious. No one can relate. No one wants to hear it. And if you go, like, a promo tour for someone doing a movie, and they talk about the movie and the making of. If you're into film, if you're a film student, if you're an actor, that might be of interest to you. Other people won't give a fuck. But if you're a rich person, you want to hear about their lifestyle so you can compare. And next time you see them, you've got your own fucking Gulfstream, whatever the fuck, because they only rent and you're leasing. You own your own jet, that kind of shit. Maybe that's of interest to you. But the average person would not give 2 squirts of piss for this interview.
Yeah, Howard's little lemmings and flying monkeys. So what's the appropriate? And I was like, it's not about her income. It was just, it was fucking pretentious, and it's not shit I want to hear.
And it was fluff. That was the other thing. Like she didn't dish anything.
No, nothing. No. She gave up nothing.
The only thing she gave us helped give us incidentally was insight between Beth and Howard. That first that interrogation segment.
Right.
Yeah.
Her life, should she make something up?
No, she shouldn't. But that's what I don't personally get a kick out of. I'm not personally entertained with that type of jargon. You know what I mean?
Let's go to gibberish. Let's go to the phones. We got a bunch of calls on this. We'll start with Chuck in Dearborn. Chuck, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
Great show today. I really enjoyed it, except for the interview with Billy Joel's wife. Well, I mean, I don't normally agree with Sal, but I gotta agree with him on this one. It was one of the most dullest interviews and pointless interviews I've ever had to listen to with Howard. So I don't know what the reason why he had her on, except for a stupid book. But who cares? But other than that, she just came off really a little bit pretentious and just annoying, man. And I don't think she was a good guest today.
All right, well, so Chuck from Dearborn agrees with you, Sal.
No, I didn't say she wasn't a good guest. I said that I particularly don't like that type of interview. I mean, I don't like her type of lifestyle and what she conveyed today. I don't find interesting as a listener of the Howard Stern.
So you agreed with him?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You agreed with him. Then.
I love the stockbroker thing. No, I don't agree with him. I just think that was a really.
I thought it was a bad
guest.
interview, and
yeah,
I didn't really like her.
That was like already trying to do an impression of Sal. So I was asking for Seth MacFarlane's number, and then said, "Look, Jason, do you have his number? If you have his number, I'd like it, but I'm not asking you for his number." Ernie goes, "That's Sal going." You robbed the gas station. Listen, that's bullshit. Listen, I robbed the gas station.
Yeah, you're saying she's a bad guest. You're saying it's a bad interview.
Yeah, fantastic.
You didn't like her interview, but you still thought she was a good guest.
Based on what Howard did with it, he made it as good as he could do it, as good as he can, and he did a good job.
Okay, Ron in Boston, you're on the wrap-up show.
Yeah, God, that guy just stole my thunder because I usually don't agree with Sal, but maybe Howard made chicken salad with chicken shit today, but she was. I just sat there and I was like, oh, poor you. You have to go to the Hamptons? Oh, your life's so hard. You're sucking Billy Joel's dick. Come on. That's it.
She never said she was doing that.
Well, then she should be.
Oh my God!
God bless the callers, man.
The callers for Howard were so much better than the callers for Opie and Anthony. I'll give them that. These guys are fucking funny, man.
Because Billy Joel, I mean, and really, I know maybe in New York he's held to a higher power, but what has he really done since Glass Houses? I mean, come on.
He's done Katie.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's about it. And she was it was boring. It was pretentious. It was, I don't know. Mo, she tried to do her own laundry. That's fantastic.
The funniest thing is these motherfuckers mean this shit. Like, they're not even trying to be funny, and they're right.
Right,
they're
yes. That's angry sarcasm.
Okay, Ron. Thanks for weighing in. And
are we really cutting Billy Joel off that everything after Glass Houses sucks? Is that what this guy's saying?
I'm trying to think what came after Glass Houses.
I like the album with I can't.
Innocent Man was after that, right?
That's a great record. I also like the one with We Didn't Start the Fire. There's a couple of good songs on that one.
My favorite's Uptown Girl. How can you not love that song?
You're just so angry, aren't you?
Jesus, what are you so pissed about? First of all, I love Billy Joel. I've been to plenty of Billy Joel concerts.
I know, you're a fan.
Oh, you go to concerts.
In the nosebleeds, Benji.
All high and mighty walking up those steps.
All right, Ted, you know what? Let's take a break.
All right, that's about it for that, guys. I thought there might be a little bit more. We hope you've enjoyed that one. We certainly had fun breaking down that thing, and we thank the callers for really putting the cherry on the top of the shitty sawdust cake.
Terrible
Carvel cake. It's just really brutal. I think one of the only ones worse. There's that Jill Martin chick that came in with Beth as well, and that one was only slightly more entertaining because she was a bit more loosey goosey with whatever she wanted to answer because she dated Steve Guttenberg. But then again, Beth had to be shoehorned in there. Why?
Meta communication, man.
I don't know.
Got to ask her. Who knows? I don't know why she does. She's like the fucking omen every time she's in with an interview.
The ambassador. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging, man. Any closing words? Any plug for the record shop? Any anything you want? There's one of the QFers says definitely wants to stop by Chicago and share. I can't remember the dish you mentioned. Empanera. What was it called? What was it? It was some Mexican, some Latino dish that you mentioned that you said are awesome.
The jibarito.
That's it. Yeah,
the plantain sandwich.
Yeah, they said they want it. They want it. Yeah, they'll treat you to it or something.
Oh well, shit! I'll always eat one of those. Yeah, I guess if anyone is into extreme metal, Meteor-Gem, GEM.com. Can buy CDs, records, tapes, shirts. If you're ever in Chicago and want to meet me, I'm in there usually on the weekends, sometimes during the weekdays, but in the Avondale neighborhood of Chicago. So, yeah, that's it.
Perfect.
Hit me up.
Thank you so much, brother.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Take care, guys. We love you.
I would get off a plane from Cleveland on a Sunday, and there'd be a wedding in her family. And I go, hey, listen, I would rather dunk my head in acid than go to your second cousin's wedding right now. And I said, Dave, go apologize. She goes, you think we're coming? I said, Dana, I'll give him $2,500.
Right.
Okay? I made $40,000 this weekend. Take 2 of it. Give it to your fucking cousin. And say it's either Artie's not here and $2,000 or Artie's here and you got $100. You cover the plate. I'm sure they won't give a shit.